Aldrin, thank you so much for joining us again. Now, a lot of developments overnight with regards to some members raising the issue about President's future in the party. What do we know about this at this stage?
It's a waiting game, and the hacks and journalists that are waiting outside...
Well, at this point, there's no outcome of this NEC meeting, which seems to be that it might be extended, considering that we're now late into the afternoon and still no resolution on whether President Jacob Zuma will be stepping down or not, whether those who are pushing for the president to step down, whether they've succeeded in persuading the entire NEC, because there needs to be consensus on this matter, whether President Jacob Zuma should step down or not. So we haven't heard anything as yet. Hopefully when the ANC decides to have a press briefing, or we get in touch with some of our sources to give us some information with regards to what's unfolding, just to give a picture to viewers at home who've never attended, who've never been at an ANC NEC meeting, is that once you get here, especially the NEC members, they have to place their phones in brown envelopes outside the venue centre, and that's why we can't get in contact with any of those people at the moment, and that's the reason why we are standing here outside St. George's, hoping for any hint of information with regards to what's currently unfolding inside that NEC meeting.
What else is on the agenda, apart, of course, from the motion of no confidence on President Zuma?
Well, yesterday when we spoke to Gwede Mantashe about it, he said that anything that you could think of in terms of current events are on the agenda. He spoke about the motion of no confidence, for instance, against President Jacob Zuma, which would be debated in Parliament. That is on the agenda. But also the open letter that was sent by the stalwarts. Remember that Gwede Mantashe's argument was that the open letter wasn't sent directly to him, so it's not on the agenda. However, for the mere fact that it's public, it means that it could be discussed, as well as the report, the unburdening report by the South African Council of Churches. He said that that's also not on the agenda, but nothing stops it being forming part of the discussions that will be taking place inside this conference center. And of course, if today's papers are anything to go by, there's no doubt that some NEC members will be pressing the president on these newspaper reports. And as I mentioned earlier on before, that the president told the Sunday Times that he has no intention whatsoever of leaving the country.
Now, Aldrin, the release of the emails revealing the so-called Dubai exit plan for President Zuma comes right at the heart of the ANC NEC meeting, which is ostensibly now discussing a motion of no confidence on President Jacob Zuma. So, I mean, is this purely coincidental, or is there any underhanded tactics from within or perhaps from without the ANC that we should know of?
Well, certainly, politics side play when it comes to these issues. There's a reason that these emails were leaked at this particular point, where tensions within the ANC are reaching a boiling point. They're reaching a fever high pitch, and that's the reason why we have this. And when you look, for instance, at the leaked emails, they haven't been only leaked to one newspaper. It's at least 3 newspapers. Rapport has it as well, City Press, as well as the Sunday Times, and all 3 those papers are leading with the story. So certainly there are those people who are trying to influence whatever is currently happening here at the ANC's NEC meeting in terms of influencing them with regards to President Jacob Zuma stepping down. On the other hand as well, you have this open letter that comes from the stalwarts. Is it a coincidence that the open letter comes just before the ANC's NEC meeting, which there has been speculation, for instance, after COSATU had decided that they will not be allowing President Jacob Zuma to be speaking at any of the events. Is it a coincidence that this open letter was sent to Gwede Mantashe just days before the NEC meeting? Certainly not. And some might argue that the stalwarts are trying to influence the ANC with regards to the decision that they will be making in terms of the future of President Jacob Zuma. So quite interesting times indeed, and that's the reason, I guess, that we have these various media houses camping outside St. George's, waiting for any inkling of information with regards to what's unfolding. And of course, more importantly, would be the future of President Jacob Zuma, and whether when this meeting comes to an end, whether on Monday Jacob Zuma will be the president of the country. Because, as I said earlier on as well, some have been arguing that the discussion right now should not be about President Jacob Zuma's future as the president of the ANC, but rather his future in terms of holding the highest office in the land.
Now, political analyst Somadoda Fikeni says the party will be doing itself a huge disservice by not tackling the issue of the allegations of state capture. Any likelihood or possibility that the party will actually delve on this issue?
Sampear, here's the difficulty about how the ANC has dealt with the issue around state capture. Remember that when Mcebisi Jonas came out and he said to the SABC, he gave a clip to the SABC where he spoke on camera about the Gupta family offering him money and also offering him the ministerial job of becoming finance minister. It was then raised with the ANC's NEC at the time, and the ANC through Gwede Mantashe then called on the members to come forward with information. However, though, after an NEC meeting that took place last year, it was decided that they will not be continuing with that investigation because Gwede Mantashe said that people didn't come through with information with regards to state capture. And what has happened since then? We now have a public protector's report, the former public protector Thuli Madonsela's report on state of capture, which raises serious allegations which go even far more than the allegations that have been raised by Fakey Mentor, the former ANC MP, as well as Mcebisi Jonas. It's quite in depth, and that's the reason why it led even to Brian Molefe subsequently resigning as Eskom CEO. And what happened after that as well? Now we have an unburdening report by the South African Council of Churches, which also speaks to issues of state capture, but not also that, also an academic report that was released on Thursday, speaking about the state of capture, but also speaking about how far back state capture reaches in terms of when it started. And the allegation that the academics are raising, for instance, is that even as far back as when Malusi Gigaba was appointed as the Minister of Public Enterprises, the work that he was doing in terms of reshuffling the board members of the various parastatals was for the interest or to the interest of the Gupta family. These are all allegations, these are all reports that are currently in front of the ANC's NEC, no doubt, but they will have to decide what they do about it. I don't think this might be the platform where they'll get evidence of state capture, or whether President Jacob Zuma would agree to these allegations, or even those implicated, like the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Local Affairs, Des van Rooyen. There's no doubt whatsoever that these are not the people that will come up and say that, yes, indeed, I have been implicated, and this is the information that I have. Chances are that's quite slim of that taking place here at this NEC meeting. But certainly in terms of investigating, I remember even speaking to Paul Mashatile at the time, last year after the local government elections, and he said that there should be a further investigation in terms of state capture. And we've heard from the former President Thabo Mbeki, we've heard from the Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as Lynn Brown, the public enterprises minister, saying that there should be a judicial commission of inquiry into this matter of state capture. And of course, we know that President Jacob Zuma is appealing the public protector's remedial action that the judge who will be heading the judicial commission of inquiry should be a judge that is hired or appointed by the Chief Justice instead of the President himself.
All right, Aldrin, we'll certainly chat to you a little earlier on as the meeting progresses. That was Aldrin Sampear speaking just outside the St. George Hotel, where the ANC NEC meeting is currently underway.